Well, we're about to end the month of September in a few days and begin the month of October, and things are getting rather interesting indeed. Thanks for clicking on to the Tuesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook for the 27th of September. This is the 2 meter temperature anomaly for the month to date as of today, and we're etching away at that very warm anomaly that we had to begin the month of September, but of course, a cool mid and latter half of September has allowed the temperature, the CET, and indeed the UK wide temperature anomaly to continue dropping. So that is quite interesting as we go and look towards the winter season coming up, because we had a very warm September last year, and this year it is nowhere near as warm, and I'm hoping that that is one of the several factors that may help with a colder winter this year. I say several factors because, of course, it is a very complex business trying to predict long range weather forecasts, especially for the British Isles. But certainly, it's been a cool month across parts of Scandinavia, many parts of Scandinavia, Central and Eastern Europe below normal, and we are now starting to see average temperatures for the month of September overall across parts of England and Wales, the Republic of Ireland as well. Scotland and Northern Ireland looks as if it's warmer than normal in a firmer way. Upcoming 5 days of the GFS ensemble looks like this, continuing with the below normal theme. Of course, we've got, it looks like, the first widespread heavy rain and gale force winds of the autumn towards the Friday period here. We've got, of course, high pressure that will start to build in during the second half of this week. We've got that cool northwesterly airflow at the moment, keeping temperatures subdued for the time of the year, but we will start to see that feature kind of filling and moving into the near continent. So high pressure will move in very briefly, and with that, clear skies, light winds, frosty conditions away from urban areas looks quite possible indeed. Then, as we go from Thursday into Friday, it looks as if we're going to start to see winds picking up and a band of heavy, persistent rain moving in from the west, associated with an area of low pressure that will stay to the north of the UK. This is the 500 millibar geopotential height anomalies, by the way, of the GFS. So this is, of course, the operational one member of many. So there is fluctuations, of course, in the overall scenario. But it looks as if it's very interesting, actually, as we go forward. Now, there's the big positive: North Atlantic, Greenland, up towards the Arctic region, negative Arctic oscillation, North Atlantic oscillation. I've said already that I believe the tropics playing a bigger role during the months of particularly mid and late September, has helped force a lot of heat up into the high latitudes, forcing a negative Arctic oscillation, negative North Atlantic oscillation, driving down the temperature over Europe after what has been a super warm, at least first half of the year. And you could argue that it's been a warm first 9 months of the year across not just Europe, but many parts of the northern hemisphere. And we continue to see heat waves across parts of China, for example. It has been ridiculously hot for a very long period of time. But this is the GFS. This is the anomaly, of course, not the actual geopotential heights. But notice what's happening here. So we've got that trough digging into Europe, hence why we've got below normal temperatures for the next 5 days or so. You can see here the 2 meter temperature anomaly of the GFS ensemble shows the below normal temperatures, and that is reflected very nicely at the 500 millibar height anomaly. So you can see that taking place. Then, as we go, of course, into the weekend, we'll lose that brief spell of high pressure. Low pressure becomes the dominant player through the course of the upcoming weekend. That system pushes through, then we're replaced by more high pressure. If you notice, look at this big deep low that's swinging down out of the northwest, kind of pinballs around Greenland, heads towards the British Isles, never really gets there. If you notice here, according to the anomaly chart, it kind of fills and fades. High pressure then reestablishes above normal heights is the theme. But I want to draw your attention to this here. Look at this here as we go towards next weekend. Long way out, yes, but it's interesting to see where the models are going with this. The continuation of tropical activity in the low to mid latitudes, transferring energy and heat northwards, seems to be continuing a theme here of a blocky type pattern, especially during the first couple of weeks of October. It looks as if the modelling is hinting at some sort of blocking to the north and to the west of the British Isles, with low pressure kind of trapped underneath that. And if you notice here, actually off the chart, we've got a bit of a Scandinavian blocking high developing here. Yeah, it's not going to deliver an Arctic outbreak, a beast from the east or anything like that. It's only September. It's only going to be mid-October at this stage. I get that, but it's almost what the pattern and what the models are trying to hint at that we need to pay close attention to here. Because sometimes what happens during the month of September, but particularly so during the month of October and on into November, can be an indicator as to what the type of weather pattern we may see as we head into December and indeed January. So it's certainly worth paying attention to what we're seeing with regards to the type of pattern that we've got here. But certainly the North Atlantic Oscillation expected to go positive as high pressure builds into the UK. A trough starts to show over the North Atlantic and possibly even in the Greenland as well. That then kind of forces the NAO to go back towards, at the very least, neutral, if not positive. But then you notice here that it takes a little bit of a dip. Now, it doesn't take a big dip like was seen back at the early portion of September, but it takes enough of a dip that this may correlate quite nicely with what the model is indicating in terms of this blocking to the north of the British Isles here. Like I say, it's too early for any kind of major cold or anything like that, but it's what the models are showing is something that we maybe need to kind of pay somewhat of a close attention to here. So it's certainly worth paying attention to, like I say, as we go forward here. Looking at the overview chart, we've got, of course, a pretty busy weather chart to speak about here. So this is, by the way, like I say, at the very, very end of the period here of the run, Wednesday the 12th of October. You can see here this kind of blocked up setup extending from the south of Greenland all the way towards Russia, and we've got all sorts of kind of weather underneath this area of high pressure here. So I think this is a byproduct, if you will, of that transfer of tropical heat towards the pole having impact. And situations like this can lead to some sort of weakening or even warming of the polar stratosphere here. And if you look at the stratospheric temperature profile here, this is the northern hemispheric view. And then if we have a look at the 10 millibar level, you can see in a sense what I'm talking about here. So as I play through the loop, of course, we've got plenty of cold air, minus 60s, as you would expect now, over top of the pole here. But we kind of pay close attention to this warming that's transferring from the tropics towards the pole. That can get into the higher levels of the atmosphere and can cause disruption. Now, if you notice here that as we play through this loop, towards the very end of the loop, you notice there's warming taking place over Siberia and trying to push towards the pole. So it's early days, but it's interesting nonetheless that we are seeing some sort of pressure being put on the polar vortex even during the month of October. Could that later down the road lead to an early start to winter? That is possible. And this, of course, is all the things that I'm looking at, day by day, week by week, and then I'm going, of course, to share with you my thoughts of what's going on here. But looking at the bigger picture, it's interesting what the models are showing, and that may have some sort of an indication of what we could expect further down the road. So that's it for today. Bit of a long range I had a comment saying, can you talk more about long range stuff? And I get that. I've not been doing an awful lot of long range stuff, but I'm going to try my best to start talking about that. Of course, running out of the month of September now, I'm going to get an October outlook done, and that may be rather interesting for you to read. And I'll, of course, talk about that in a video as well. So, plenty of reason to stay here on my YouTube channel. So, please like, share, and if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. And remember to hit the bell so that you don't miss any new uploads. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.